Hello, good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Friday, April the 24th, and we're here to look at the rest of the cozy mysteries that were published this week. Hope you're having a good day. Quick announcements. I don't have any sprints tonight. Next sprints are tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, at 3 p.m. Eastern. Goes for 5 hours. We stopped at the brownies on Monday. Death by Blueprint by Terry Ambrose, 9th in a Seaside Cove bed and breakfast mystery. When Rick Atwood's contractor is found murdered at the construction site at his family's new home, Seaside Cove's mayor makes a shocking move, ordering the police to shut Rick out of the investigation entirely. Certainly there's more at stake than finding a killer. Rick uncovers the mayor's quiet ties to the town's most powerful developer and launches his own discreet search for the truth, but keeping his sharp-eyed 13-year-old daughter out of danger proves impossible, especially when Alex teams up with Shadow, an enormous Newfoundland with instincts as keen as her own. As Rick navigates backroom deals and town hall politics, Alex and her four-legged deputy follow a trail of hidden plans, buried evidence, and long-standing grudges. Their discoveries expose a deadly scheme rooted in the past and force a desperate killer to strike again. End of that row. Die to Your Own Tune by Rebecca McKinnon, 3rd in the Octavia Fields Mysteries. After months of giving in to her wanderlust, free-spirited vocalist Octavia Fields is ready to get back to her Airy Pines music shop, but she hasn't even had a chance to unpack before running into her teenage nemesis who's there to solo with the Airy Peak Symphony. Things get even more interesting when Octavia learns the conductor is none other than her ex-boyfriend, who seems to think they're engaged. After finding her nemesis dead, Octavia jumps barefoot first into another investigation, but Detective Dreamy isn't about to let her investigate alone. He knows her knack for attracting trouble, and he wants to keep an eye on the ex who's twisted between being separated for a year into an engagement. When Octavia is asked to step in as the new soloist, she has to balance investigating with rehearsals, and what should be an honor puts Octavia directly in the spotlight, and possibly the killer's crosshairs. With tension mounting both on stage and off, Octavia realizes someone might be tuning up for an encore performance. She needs to unmask the killer before the final curtain falls, and Octavia takes the deadliest bow of all. Oy. Macchiato Mayhem by Wendy Meadows, 5th in the Brown's Grounds Mysteries. Monica Brown needs a vacation. A weekend at Lake Canopy Cabins with her best friend Carol sounds like the perfect escape from Mill Pond. Fresh air, lazy afternoons by the water, and absolutely no dead bodies. But when a group of hunters in the neighboring cabin loses one of their own, Monica's so-called getaway takes a deadly turn. Eddie Lohman has vanished and nobody seems eager to explain why. The remaining hunters are jumpy, the stories don't add up, and woods surrounding the lake suddenly feel a lot less peaceful. When Sheriff Nathan Thomas arriving to investigate and Monica's instincts pulling her deeper into the case, she can't resist following the trail, even when it leads her on a terrifying chase through the forest. Someone at Lake Canopy is hiding a grudge worth killing for, and Monica is getting dangerously close to the truth. Days of Our Knives Cruise by Addison Moore, 14th in Cruising Through Midlife series. My name is Trixie Troublefield Baxter, and I live on a cruise ship. Usually my days are filled with teaching art classes, writing my travel blog, and solving the occasional murder with my handsome husband Ransom, who just so happens to be the head of security. You know, normal cruise stuff. But this Norwegian fjords adventure just took a sharp turn into soap opera territory, literally. The Emerald Queen of the Seas has been invaded by the cast of Trophy Wives of Paradise, Soap Opera's Stars Edition. A reality show, they're gonna do it, you know they are. a reality show featuring aging daytime drama heartthrobs and their suspiciously younger, surgically enhanced wives. Between dramatic confessionals, stage confrontations, and more cosmetic fillers than you can shake a syringe at, I hardly noticed when someone turned this reality show into a real-life whodunit. Now I've been roped into the production as the relatable one, whatever that means, while simultaneously trying to catch a killer before they claim another victim. As we sail through breathtaking Norwegian fjords, past thundering waterfalls and picturesque villages, the body count threatens to rise faster than the midnight sun. With cameras rolling 24/7, Ransom and I need to separate scripted drama from deadly reality, all whilst avoiding becoming the next shocking plot twist. Good morning, Elena. How you doing? She says, I am good. Good to hear. I like this cover. Keys, Kitty, and Kidnapping by Lisa Peavy. 5th in the Honeysuckle Bend Cozy Mystery Series. We have him. That's all that was written on the hastily scrawled note found in the kitchen of Callie's missing boyfriend. Now it's up to her to find out what happened to him before it's too late. With powerful people, and a few cats too, aligned against her, Callie will have to rely on instinct along with a little help from her cast of close friends as she hopes to ever be reunited with her beau. Find out what happens in this exciting story arc, blah, blah, blah. End of that row. The Traitor in the Trunk. 17th in the Mysteries on Lilac Lane series. It was a year of change for Kelsey, and it was only April. Her husband of 3 years decided, as Laird of Castle Macdean-Corin, to volunteer with the Six Scots, a 3-week commitment that turned into an operational deployment for the next 10 months. Kelsey didn't have long to wonder how she would fill her time. Her grandpa died a week after Angus deployed, leaving Kelsey the sole owner of his house and business, an auto repair shop in Wisteria, Wisconsin, wherever that was. As Kelsey worked to keep her grandfather's legacy alive and ensure the success of Gerber's garage, she was confronted by a series of troubling incidents. The situation escalated from alarming discovery that someone was using the auto shop to abandon the vehicles to a far more disturbing revelation. A body was found in the trunk of one of the dumped cars. This latest incident made it clear that Gerber's garage was now at the center of a much larger and more dangerous mystery, a mystery only she could unravel. Well, I would also say the police. These controlling people. Wicked Ways by Alicia Dean, 17th. Oh. This is the next, it's only 98 pages. Sorry, we don't do those, so, and we already did the one before. Through Dancing Poppies by Karen Allen. 3rd in the Miss Gascoigne Mysteries. Set in the swinging 1960s. Poppy Bell is a teenage singing sensation about to hit the big time and newly engaged to a man old enough to be her father. Everyone says she's a gold digger, but then Dee Gascoigne, now a fully fledged or nearly fully fledged private investigator working for the law firm of Montague, meets Poppy a couple of times, but can't help but notice she is a very talented musician who is young, naive, and on the brink of something incredible. But she is also surrounded by people who know exactly what they are doing. They've done this kind of thing before, are used to the spotlight and the glare of media sensationalism, and know how to present the perfect image to grow a very public career. Then there's a near miss in a car park, and suddenly Dee has an intense feeling of danger lurking in the shadows. But who is the target? Poppy or her new fiancé, wealthy entrepreneur Teddy Reynolds? I don't know, it sounds messy. Death by Southpaw by Brittany Brinegar, 9th in the Heist Society Investigates series. There's no crying in baseball, but there's plenty of killings. Dallas, Texas, 1925. For Penelope Van Kiesler, there's nothing quite like the crack of a bat, the roar of a crowd, and the scent of roasted peanuts in the air. So when Clara Unger, owner of the struggling Dallas Mockingbirds, hires the Heist Society to recover her stolen fortune, Penelope jumps at the chance to step up to the plate, especially with Babe Ruth and the New York Yankees coming to town for a spring training exhibition game. But when High Waters Wilson, the team's veteran catcher and promoter, is found dead in the dugout, bludgeoned by a baseball bat, Penelope's investigation turns missing money to murder. With her trademark charm and a love of America's pastime, Penelope dives headfirst into the world of minor league baseball. From shady money to power-hungry players, every suspect has a motive. The clock is ticking before the Yankees train pulls into the station and Mockingbirds strike out, losing their chance at redemption. Can Penelope recover Clara's stolen fortune and catch a killer? Or will this underdog team leave the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth inning? You knew they had to do that. End of that row. Oh my goodness, I need a sip. Dana says, see you tomorrow afternoon. All right. I'm going to see Michael Jackson next Saturday. Oh, the movie? That will be fun. Murder Between the Stacks by Eloise Everhart. Second in A Miller's Magical Mystery. Megan Miller has only been Point Pleasant's supernatural liaison to the notorious Wardens of the West for 2 months. She thought she'd have more time before facing another murder. She was wrong. When a beloved bookstore owner is found dead, Megan is pulled into a supernatural murder investigation that quickly proves more complicated than anything she's handled before. The victim was a vampire. Nothing about the case feels simple. A confession comes too easily. Witnesses choose their words too carefully. And the truth seems tangled in supernatural politics Megan is only beginning to understand. With her coven at her side and her instincts pushing her forward, Megan must follow the trail wherever it leads, even if it means stepping deeper into a world that doesn't want its secrets uncovered. Because at Point Pleasant, immortality doesn't guarantee safety, and every mystery leaves a mark. That's going to leave a mark. Dead Ringer by Paula Lester. 8th in the Afterlife Files. The death wasn't supposed to be fake. The death was supposed to be fake. The murder wasn't. Wren Grimm is no stranger to staging deaths for supernatural clients who need a fresh start, but when her latest client turns up genuinely dead before the plan is complete, she's trapped between protecting the supernatural community's secrets and solving a murder no one is supposed to know about. Someone wanted this death to be real, and Wren's the only one who knows the difference. That is it. Lobster Dinner Death by Angela K. Ryan, 6th in the Cape Cod Cozy Mysteries. When Cassie and her friends organize a lobster dinner fundraiser to help a struggling fisherman, his wife, and their precocious 8-year-old daughter, the evening is meant to bring the community together for a good cause. Instead, it ends in murder. Just as the event reaches its peak, a stack of heavy lobster traps crashes down from above, straight onto Conrad Novak, an unpopular real estate developer. In a town where Conrad had made more enemies than friends, there's no shortage of suspects. Meanwhile, Cassie and Jake continue their hunt for Red, determined to solve the lingering art theft mystery that has weighed on Cassie's heart for months. She is more determined than ever to prove that her friend John was framed for a crime he didn't commit. Can she solve the case and bring much-needed peace to his family? Creep It Real, Book 3 in the Black Cat Investigations by Aaron Scott. Oh, this will be a good one for Tiffany. It says, Dear reader, this series is for everyone who normally doesn't read scary books because they're just too, well, scary. I'm a proud member of the Scaredy Cat Club. So this is okay for those kinds of people. When Madame D comes into museum distraught, Queenie doesn't think much about it. The woman has always had a flair for the dramatic, but after reading the terrifying note someone left on her door, Queenie wonders if Madame D isn't reacting enough to the obvious death threat. Instead of making good on their promise of violence, someone leaves a body in Madame D's front yard, making it look like she was the one to kill them. Despite being a woman of means, Queenie and Mercer's boss can't buy herself out of this kind of trouble. What she can do, however, is hire the Black Cat investigations team to help her find who really did this. With Mercer Prince officially joining the group, Queenie has high hopes that they'll get to the bottom of this latest mystery. If they could just get a moment of peace to work without a handful of other problems popping up. Now that they're getting paid, will they let the pressure get to them, or will they be able to creep it real? End of that row. Oh, it says page not found on that one. So that one's gone for some reason. They pulled it. Motifs and Malice by Kitty Graham, 4th in the Maeve Lynch Knitting Mysteries. When a builder has a suspicious accident at a Stillorgan construction site, Maeve Lynch agrees to ask a few quiet questions as a favor to a friend. It should be straightforward. It really should not end with her holding a student card that has no business being where she found it. Returning it seems like the obvious next step until she finds out who it belongs to and what happened to him and why nobody at the time seemed particularly interested in asking. With Midge on the lead, Michelle and Aisling on speed dial, and Liam from the Gardaí offering just enough help to make her nervous, Maeve is about to discover that some patterns are designed to hide exactly what's underneath. Carl is on his way home. Whether he'll arrive before things get complicated is another question entirely. Seems like there's a lot of story that we are not getting because we're not reading that series. But that's okay. Maybe it's intriguing enough for somebody to start at the first. Don't know. Crumbs of Evidence by P.A. Bumpus, 3rd in the Sweet Harbor Cozy Mysteries. Baker Liv Bennett thought she knew everyone in Sweet Harbor, Maine. She was wrong. When retired detective Walt Henderson is murdered, Liv discovers he left her everything, including evidence of a 30-year-old murder cover-up and an incomplete note that ends mid-sentence. The person I saw was... Walt recognized someone from his past, a killer who's been hiding in Sweet Harbor for decades. Dude, all you needed to do was that name equals that name. Someone Liv sees every day, someone who will kill again to protect their secret. As Liv teams up with Detective Marcus Reed to find Walt's murderer, her attention to detail, the same skill that makes her pastry so perfect, seriously, reveal dangerous patterns others miss, because she decorates pastries. Yeah. But noticing inconsistencies also makes her the next target, because this killer has fooled an entire town for 30 years, and they're not about to let a small town baker expose them now. Sit. Last one. Jana De Leon has a new one. Didn't know about that until... Was it Amy on this prince? One of them. Marsh Mystics by Jana De Leon, 30th in the Misfortunes Mysteries. Namaste all day. Yoga retreats are supposed to have bodies, just not dead ones. But when Eleanor, the owner of the retreat, turns up dead, Ronald and Gertie know just who to call. Eleanor's sister Mildred is convinced Eleanor's shady business partner had something to do with her death, but there's no evidence to prove it. To add more limitations to the mix, Carter is being audited by the state police due to complaints concerning his conduct, with specific claims that he's feeding Fortune confidential information. Swamp Team 3 fully intend to help Mildred find out what happened to her sister, but they'll have to fly below radar to avoid risking Carter's position as sheriff. How far can they bend? And that is it for the Cozy Mysteries this week. A goodly amount. Well, next week we'll take a look at a whole new batch. Hi, Amy, she says. Good morning, PK. Good morning. How are you this lovely Friday morning? We just got done. So again, I don't have any sprints tonight. I don't do them on Friday night. In fact, I have to do a whole lot of clearing so that we can get our new refrigerator tomorrow and the old one out. So there's still some condiments in the fridge, and there's a bookshelf right next to the door that needs to be moved, which is not going to be fun. So, but our next sprints are tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern for 5 hours. Hope you are having a good rest of your day. Be safe. Read good books. And as the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.